Well, the fans turned out at the Australian Golf Club today, and what a show they were treated to by the 21-year-old American Jordan Spieth, romping to victory in the Australian Open. And I'm joined by Bruce Young from iSeekGolf.com. And Bruce, boy, that was something to watch, was it not?
Well, I don't know whether it's the greatest round ever produced in Australian golf. I guess we'll determine that over a period of time, but it'll have to be up there, that's for sure, with the likes of Ernie Els' round of 60 at Royal Melbourne and maybe Retief Houston's round at Lake Karrinyup a few years ago. But given the circumstances and the demanding conditions here at the Australian Golf Club over the weekend, this round of 63 today was one of the great rounds of golf, I think, just generally.
Yeah. It was the round we were hoping to see from Rory McIlroy to make things interesting. It didn't come from, in fact, it didn't come from anybody. The most impressive thing about this was the scoring average today must have been well over 70.
Oh, I would think so. Those conditions today were very similar to what they were yesterday when the wind kicked in at about 12 o'clock, that northeasterly wind, and it was very strong and made the golf course very, very difficult. So what he produced was something out of the box, and he can take away from this not only the victory, but the manner in which he achieved the victory, and he talked quite a bit about that afterwards.
I salvaged every stroke possible today. There was nothing that I left out there, and that's very rare to find. You know, there was at no point was I, even remotely upset. Which is it was very stress-free. Take a lot of confidence from that, knowing that this course was that challenging for everybody, including world number 1 and world number 3. It was difficult, so yeah, I can take a lot from beating the whole world-class field, not those two guys included, but the entire field was you could scroll down the names, and most of them were faces I see on a regular basis on the PGA Tour.
Look, we get spoiled by the younger players in this day and age, don't we? Jordan Spieth's career has been truly remarkable to this point, and this only puts an exclamation mark on that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it's only his second win. We know that he's had a number of good finishes on the PGA Tour. He won the John Deere Classic last year and had a couple of runner-up finishes this year. Not too bad. The tournaments, though, Rod, at the Tournament of Champions, at the start of the year, and at the Masters in April, he finished runner-up on debut there. So that just tells the quality of the player. And I think the fact that he said earlier this week that he likes to bring his game internationally now, he wants to play a lot internationally, I think he's been rewarded with a significant international title, and good luck to him for that.
He was genuinely chuffed to be holding the Stonehaven Cup. You could tell that in the press conference. He sat in that very chair not an hour ago, Bruce, and it was fabulous to see. Spieth's performance was fantastic. The crowds really adopted him. Of course, Adam Scott is the local favourite, but you could sort of feel the crowds cheering Jordan Spieth all the way home once it was clear that Adam Scott wasn't going to be in.
I think that's a very good point. Once it was clear that McIlroy and Scott weren't going to be contenders for the title, they really did get behind Jordan Spieth. And some of the comments that he's made this week have really endeared him to the Australian golfing public, and you could feel that out there today. They really got behind him as he really just put together that extraordinary finish over the closing few holes.
Yeah, he plays the game the right way, he shapes the ball, he gets on with it and plays quickly. It's unorthodox, but it's fantastic to watch, and he shoots the scores. Jordan Spieth was obviously the story of the day, winning the Stonehaven Cup, Bruce Young, but of course not the only story. Rod Pampling, Brett Rumford, Greg Chalmers all going to the Open Championship at St Andrews in 2015.
And look, when you consider the years that they've had, Rumford had a great year last year, not a good year this year. Pampling and Chalmers have struggled on the PGA Tour. Just to get the opportunity through final qualifying for the Open Championship via this tournament is a huge boost for their careers. They'll get to go to St Andrews next year, and it's a great initiative by the R&A to bring that qualifying to this championship, and they've reaped the rewards, or reaped the benefits of that.
Players tested under tournament pressure probably deserve a spot more than those who used to play in the qualifier. I think that was the whole idea of
I think so too, yes.
Yeah, and a significant national championship. The past two players I wanted to talk about, Bruce, of course, neither Adam Scott nor Rory McIlroy won. At the start of the week, it's what we wanted. On Saturday night, we still had a chance to perhaps see that. They both gave it all, both came up short. Just some thoughts on Adam and Rory's weeks.
Well, I don't think you can say Adam finished fifth
today,
it was. So it was a good solid week for him. I suppose our expectations of him now are so high that we are hoping that he'd win just about every time he plays in Australia, and he's done that, really.
Because he did last year.
Well, he did last year, and he did again last week at the Masters. He so nearly won. But so another good solid week from Adam Scott. Rory McIlroy was disappointing, I suppose, but he really took himself out of that tournament with that rather bizarre couple of holes in the middle of round 3. So great to have him here, though, all the same. The world number 1, he's a gregarious, outgoing sort of character that people warm to, and he brought a lot to the tournament. He was obviously paid a lot of money to be here, but I think he really gave plenty of bang for his buck, as indeed did Jordan Spieth and Adam Scott, who were both no doubt paid significant amounts of money to play the event.
Yep, they can get paid plenty of money in lots of places though.
Absolutely.
I get the feeling McIlroy genuinely enjoys his time here in Australia and had a good time this week as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one thing I do want to say, Rod, before we go, the winning margin today, 6 shots, is the greatest winning margin at the Australian Open since Greg Norman's victory in 1996 over Wayne Grady here at the Australian Golf Club. So once again, just another indication of the quality of Jordan Spieth's golf this weekend.
Indeed, it's some esteemed company that he's in. Bruce, a terrific champion, Jordan Spieth, one that we can all be proud of, and we do hope that he comes back to defend the Australian Open next year. That wraps it up for us here at the Australian Golf Club. Looking forward to seeing you from the Australian PGA Championship at Royal Pines in 2 weeks' time.